Much of what we know about the Great Fire of London comes from the diary of Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator who carefully recorded the dramatic events as they unfolded in September 1666. In the early hours of Sunday, the 2nd of September 1666, Pepys was woken by news of a fire spreading through the city of London. The blaze had begun in a bakery on Pudding Lane, owned by Thomas Fariner. At first, it seemed like just another city fire. Fires were common in London's tightly packed streets. But this one would become something very different. London in the 17th century was a dangerous place for fire. Most buildings were made of timber, the streets were narrow, and upper floors often leaned over the road. A strong wind blew through the city that night, carrying sparks from roof to roof. By morning, the fire was spreading rapidly through the eastern part of the city. Residents rushed to save what they could, loading carts with furniture and possessions, while others fled to the river with their belongings piled into boats. Pepys watched the flames from the Tower of London and realised the scale of the disaster. He hurried to Whitehall Palace to warn King Charles II, urging that houses be pulled down to create fire breaks and stop the fire spreading.
The fire spreads! We must act now! But our forces are depleted. We need confirmation. There is no time!
But early action came too late. By Monday, the 3rd of September, the fire had grown into a raging firestorm. Entire streets were consumed by flames as the wind pushed the blaze westward through the city. Pepys wrote of the terrifying sight, churches collapsing, buildings exploding with heat, and people running through the streets in panic. On Tuesday, the 4th of September, the fire reached one of London's greatest landmarks, Old St. Paul's Cathedral. The cathedral had been packed with goods by people hoping the stone building would protect them. But the intense heat ignited the wooden scaffolding surrounding it. Soon the great cathedral was engulfed, its roof collapsing in flames. By this point, much of the medieval city of London was burning. Finally, desperate measures were taken. Instead of simply pulling down houses by hand, soldiers began using gunpowder to blow up buildings ahead of the flames, creating wide gaps that the fire could not cross. At the same time, the wind began to weaken. By Wednesday, the 5th of September, the fire's advance slowed, and by Thursday, the 6th, it was finally brought under control. In just 4 days, the Great Fire had destroyed over 13,000 houses, 87 parish churches, and most of the buildings inside the old city walls. Remarkably, very few deaths were officially recorded, though the true number may never be known. Yet out of the destruction came opportunity. London was rebuilt with wider streets, brick and stone buildings, and new fire regulations designed to prevent such a disaster from happening again. Today, the Great Fire of London is remembered not just as a tragedy, but as the moment that reshaped the city forever.